Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Fish Tank Diaries. Today we've got Luke Fribbens from Cold Banana Studios in Bournemouth with us. Luke, thank you very much for coming along today.
No, thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great that you could make the time to come down. I know you're really busy and you're probably one of the directors that's in the earliest stages of running a business. You're not quite 2 years in, or you're just about 2 years in?
Just 2 years.
Just 2 years in.
2 years about a week ago. So
okay.
yeah, celebrating our 2 years still.
Oh, brilliant. Do anything fun?
No.
No. Too busy.
Too busy, unfortunately. Yeah. Don't give anyone time off.
Yeah. See, seems to be a common problem with startup companies.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so you have a .NET development house. So you've got a development agency is probably not the right word because that's why you call it studio, isn't it? You're .NET developers and you predominantly do back end, don't you? And you specialise in the Microsoft language. Is that correct?
Yeah, certainly. So we've kind of found a niche in the digital market, I suppose, that most other agencies aren't doing, which is .NET, and that allows us to partner and build relationships with other agencies and not be kind of stepping on their toes, and we can actually really form good relationships with their clients, but also with their in-house team as well.
Okay, so why .NET? Well, I suppose before I start asking why .NET development, you know, where did you come from before that? What were you doing before you set up the business?
Yeah, certainly. So I spent about 6 years at another agency in Bournemouth. I was a director there and helped them grow the business from scratch, basically. And that gave me a huge amount of experience to see the growth of a business. But also to be dealing with CEOs of big companies that I'd have never had the opportunity to do if I wasn't there.
You set up a venture quite young, didn't you?
Yeah. So I set up a men's accessories, what actually started as a cufflinks store, online cufflinks store, when I was only 13 years old.
13?
So, yeah. I would spend every evening packing jiffy bags with cufflinks and then running out of stock and worrying how I'm going to tell some of the customers that they've got to wait 2 weeks for their cufflinks and things like that.
Now, when you were 13, this is about 2000, isn't it? 99, 2000, something like that?
Yes, it would have been 2000.
So what channels were you selling product? Because obviously we all know the digital era has evolved so much
completely.
in nearly 20 years, you know.
It was tough, definitely. I mean, the website was hideous, and it
Dreamweaver or something like that.
Dreamweaver,
it was a Dreamweaver.
Yeah, it was Dreamweaver. Hate to say it, but I was using Dreamweaver. But the website was terrible, and I'd get home from school, and my printer in the corner of the room had automatically printed out my orders, so I'd always walk through the door at night and hope that the wad of paper that had come out of the printers was nice and big, because it was a good sign that I'd got lots of orders that day.
Hoping the printers run out of paper.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
So I'm going to try and move away from that, because obviously...
It's nice reflecting on it because you don't get to talk about it often.
So you've made it through the first 2 years. You know, you're obviously very careful with your money and you're very careful with the business. And how's it been building the right team? I've asked a number of people this, and they've said, well, you know, you've got to have that sort of like relationship with you've got to gravitate towards people. You know, and if you don't, and there's no trust, then it's very difficult to give them trust to let go of, let go of the reins and give them roles that they're going to undertake almost on their own.
Yeah, certainly.
So you've grown into a team of, is it 8 or 9 now?
Yeah, 9. I think it'll be 10 next month as well.
10 next month in 2 years, which is, you say you're growing organically and trying to take things slowly. That's pretty fast.
It is, certainly. I don't see it as fast, which is weird.
Well, no, you're used to running a business at 13.
Yeah,
so.
True, yeah, that's true. I think it's because it hasn't been forced. We haven't kind of been given a pot of cash and just of investment and told to go and grow as a business. We've had to get used to building a team, and whether that be kind of different skill levels in the team, different structure. I think from being at my old agency, we hired people a lot of the time on culture and the right culture fit rather than the right skill set, and that's really distilled through to what I do these days. I interviewed someone this week, for example, who is the perfect fit for a new developer role, hasn't got a day's worth of development experience under his belt, but actually he's so much more appealing to me as a new employee than a developer that might have been doing it for 4 years but can't speak to a customer.
There's going to be a number of different people who are watching this who are about to make the jump, or they've just made it, or they're a year or two in, they're really feeling the pressure, they're probably not having the level of success that you've had. I'm sure you've had your own pressures along the way. And very few are likely to have had your early starts. But what advice would you be looking to give them?
Good luck.
And you're on your own.
I think one of the biggest things that I still struggle with, and I think it's one of those ones that you can only get used to over time, is failures. So failures for us is kind of not winning a project, or upsetting a client, or not getting the right member of staff, or losing a member of staff to another agency, for example. And I will still beat myself up every time we get a failure, and it puts me down for a couple of days. And if we lose a project, for example, that I was that close to getting, it really kind of hits me down. And actually it's the wrong attitude to take, and I should look at it as a business and go, well, we've got to this point by growing, by winning projects and growing organically, I suppose. So there is no need to rush it.
So come on, what do you do to relax then?
What do I do to relax?
We've had people who do cycling and windsurfing, and we've spoken to people before who do meditation. I mentioned that I like going in the garage and building cars and stuff. That's still, and all of these were still people. I think Mark Cribb said that he goes cycling, and then he mentioned that he cycles up mountains in France and Switzerland. That's
not relaxing.
No, that doesn't. I mean, he said pushing yourself physically to such a level that your brain stops thinking about work. I can understand where he's coming from. He said it describes it as almost a kind of meditation.
Yeah, certainly.
To break yourself away. I know for me, I have to be busy just doing something away from the company.
Yeah, certainly. I think for me, it's anything away from a screen, be it whether it is I'm there developing or doing something on the business. You're always involved in front of a screen. So anything outdoors for me, and something I've wanted to do since I was 15, or when I was 15 actually, I had my a flying lesson, a first ever flying lesson. So ever since I was 15, I always wanted to fly and have a private pilot's license. So it's been kind of a dream of mine ever since I started the business. Certainly, is to find enough time to be able to spend a couple of hours a week on flying lessons, but also find enough money because it's not cheap.
It's not
cheap at all. So I'm actually starting it this month, my first proper lesson. So
congratulations!
I think that's going to be my kind of a scapegoat.
So it's been 15 years coming.
Yeah, true.
To actually get yourself into a place that you can treat yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. And I hope as the business grows, like we said earlier, I can spend a couple of hours a week away from everything.
Up in the clouds.
Yeah, as far away from as possible. Completely cut off from any internet and stuff. So that's the hope. So yeah, I'm starting that this month.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see where you go from here.
Cheers.
If you get your license, sorry?
I look forward to coming back.
Yeah, no, well, I hope you do. And if you get your license, can you take me out to play?
Yeah, certainly.
Because I think that would be a good way to go.
Yeah. Cheers. No trust.
None whatsoever. Luke, thank you so much for coming along today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, bud.
Thank you.